What happens when the most powerful man in football lays eyes on the most talked about rookie in the league? Not just admiration, not just interest, obsession. That's exactly what's unfolding right now behind closed doors. A quiet storm nobody saw coming. Jerry Jones, the NFL's most theatrical owner and calculated power broker, has turned his focus toward Shedeur Sanders. And if history tells us anything, when Jerry wants something, it's only a matter of how far he'll go to get it. But as the Browns quietly begin to realize they may have struck gold, a whisper started snaking through the league's inner circles. Jerry Jones is watching. And not just watching, plotting. That whisper is now a roar behind closed doors. Murmurs of back-channel calls, mysterious steakhouse meetings, Deion Sanders allegedly dropping hints in conversations nobody's supposed to overhear. And the plan? If it's real, if it happens, it won't just be a trade. It'll be the largest quarterback power play since the Herschel Walker deal flipped the NFL on its head. Because this isn't just about Shedeur Sanders on Sunday. It's about building the most marketable dynasty in sports history. And Jerry, he's not building to win. He's building to live forever. Cleveland wasn't supposed to win this one. For years, they've been the NFL's favorite cautionary tale. A revolving door of quarterbacks. Of hope given and ripped away over and over again. So when Shedeur Sanders landed in the dog pound, most people wrote it off as just another chapter in Cleveland's cursed football Bible. But then something changed. From the moment Shedeur stepped on the field, everything slowed down. The pressure didn't rattle him. The media didn't fluster him. He walked into the building like a 10-year vet hiding inside a rookie's body. Practice after practice, play after play, he delivered. Clean reads, clinical execution, poise that made grown men on defense look confused. Behind closed doors, coaches were speechless. Scouts started whispering. We didn't just draft a QB, we drafted a cornerstone. And that's when the ripple started. Word spread, quietly at first. Have you seen this Sanders kid? Yo, check out that Browns footage. Jerry's watching. Because the second whispers left the Cleveland facility, they didn't just float. They found Jerry Jones. And to Jerry, this wasn't just talent. This was a headline waiting to happen. This was the son of prime time, who had inherited not just the swagger, but the magnetism. Only this time, less flash, more focus, fewer dances, more discipline. A new era version of what made Deion must-see TV. Shedeur wasn't another rookie, he was a star. Already, he hadn't played a single real NFL snap, and yet he was moving like a brand, a legacy, a billion-dollar bet. And for a man like Jerry Jones, who lives to make history, that's all he needed to hear. When Jerry Jones starts watching, he's not just scouting talent, he's scanning for legacy. And once Shedeur Sanders hit his radar, this stopped being a football decision, it became a billion-dollar chess move. Because Jerry doesn't see quarterbacks the way most owners do. He doesn't see pass completion percentages or combine stats. He sees value, market share, headlines, Hulu specials, and jersey sales in Japan. He sees brand empires built off charm, storylines, and swagger. And in Shedeur Sanders, Jerry saw everything he's been chasing since the 1990s. Not just another quarterback, but the next face of football. To Jerry, Dak Prescott has become a stalled narrative. The team isn't bad, but something's missing. The dynasty energy, the national fire, the cultural spark the Cowboys used to own, it's slipping. And that's when Jerry does what Jerry always does. He starts planning the next spectacle. For him, football is theater. A billion-dollar live-action soap opera, and Jerry doesn't just fund the show, he writes the script. So the moment Shedeur lit up Cleveland's defense in practice and that footage hit the private inner circle, Jerry wasn't thinking like a GM anymore. He was thinking like a media mogul, A young, marketable, charismatic quarterback who could throw 300 yards on Sunday and headline a Netflix docuseries by Tuesday? That's not a player, that's a weapon. A gateway to the next generation of Cowboys dominance. And Jerry, he wasn't about to sit back and watch Cleveland turn Shedeur into gold. He was about to figure out how to steal the crown and rewrite his own ending while there was still time. Jerry Jones isn't foolish enough to make a direct call, not for a move this big. Not when it puts him on a collision course with tampering charges, PR fallout, and league-wide scrutiny. So what does he do? He goes underground. Whispers start moving through the league like wildfire in a dry forest. A dinner here, a mysteriously timed meeting there. Mutual friends catching up in private rooms at exclusive steakhouses. Jerry doesn't speak directly. He plants ideas. And suddenly, agents are getting feelers. PR teams are fielding unusual questions. The phrase hypothetical trade becomes a lot less hypothetical. All of it off the record, of course. And at the center of this slow-burning whisper campaign, Deion Sanders, Cowboys royalty, flash, swagger, legacy, and more importantly, a man Jerry Jones still listens to. When primetime speaks, Jerry doesn't just hear it, he feels it. So when Deion starts mentioning Shedeur's name in casual convos during interviews, podcasts, and private calls, Jerry doesn't need it spelled out. The message is clear. Now's the time. He's ready. He's watching. He's possible. And to Jerry, those subtle signals from Deion are like green lights on a billion-dollar racetrack. But here's where it gets dangerous. There's no paper trail, no official request, nothing illegal yet. Just enough smoke to convince everyone there might be fire, without giving the league anything to prove it. This is Jerry's signature move. Plant the seed, water it in the dark. Let the chaos bloom where no one can point a finger. And as the NFL holds its breath, the Browns start to feel that shadow creeping in. Something's happening, but no one knows who made the first real move. This whole thing, it's not about fixing the offense. It's not about Dak Prescott. Hell, it's not even about building a Super Bowl contender. For Jerry Jones, this is about something far bigger. It's about immortality. He's not chasing another ring. He's chasing the moment that locks his name into history as more than an owner. He wants to be the man who turned the Dallas Cowboys from a football team into a global cultural empire, the NFL's version of Disney. And who's the golden ticket? Shedeur Sanders, the son of prime, flash with polish, swagger with structure. Not just media trained, media native. Born for the cameras, engineered for spotlight. He's young, dynamic, and already viral before taking a real NFL snap. He's not just a quarterback, he's a brand in cleats. To Jerry, Shedeur represents something no quarterback has ever fully embodied in the Cowboys era. Cultural dominance and commercial firepower. The kid could throw 300 yards on Sunday, close a Nike deal on Monday, and headline a Netflix docuseries by Wednesday, all without dropping a beat. And that's why Jerry doesn't blink when the word gets out about multiple first-round picks, star players, and complete cap chaos. That trade package, it wouldn't just shift the Cowboys, it would gut them. But Jerry doesn't flinch because this isn't risk to him. It's strategy. It's planting the Cowboys star on the world stage, forever. And from his luxury suite in Texas, Jerry isn't asking what it costs. He's asking if the curtains are ready to open on his final masterpiece. On the outside, Cleveland looks calm. Shedeur is throwing darts in practice. Coaches are nodding. Fans are hopeful. It finally feels like the Browns have something real, a quarterback worth building around. But behind the locker room walls, it's a quiet civil war. One side of the front office wants to double down and protect the future. Make Shedeur the face of the franchise. Give him time. Let him develop. Build a legacy right in Cleveland, the city that's never had one on offense. The other side? They're seeing dollar signs. Shedeur isn't just a quarterback, he's a media event, a licensing goldmine, a crossover icon waiting to happen. His highlight clips hit millions. His name trends globally. And as soon as the whispers about Jerry Jones started buzzing, the execs stopped thinking like football guys. They started thinking like brand managers. What if we cashed in now? What if we flipped the narrative on its head and packaged him at peak hype? What if Cleveland, yes, Cleveland, pulled off the biggest trade in NFL history? The dilemma is nuclear. Keep your potential franchise QB and risk losing him down the road? Or hand Jerry the keys for a historic offer and bet on the return being worth the backlash? And in the middle of it all, just trying to play ball, just trying to earn respect. But now he's being pulled in every direction by voices louder than any coaching staff, billionaire owners, sponsors, family, legacy. And the Browns, they're feeling the foundation crack. Everyone's talking in low tones, doors closing faster, interviews getting shorter. Because the question isn't if Jerry makes an offer, it's what happens when Cleveland actually has to answer. Here's where things get really interesting. Because standing somewhere in the shadows of this chaos is a man who doesn't need a title, doesn't need a position, and doesn't need permission to change the conversation overnight. Deion Sanders. And make no mistake, he's the wild card. Jerry and Deion go way back. Cowboys royalty, a golden era where primetime wasn't just a player, but the heartbeat of national attention. Jerry still respects Deion more than almost anyone else in the NFL. And when Prime speaks, Jerry doesn't just listen, he adjusts. Now, Deion isn't officially in these boardroom moves, but he doesn't have to be. He drops hints in interviews. He mentions Shedeur's name casually on podcasts, in locker room pep talks, on social media lives. And every time he does, you can feel the NFL world tilt just a little bit, because Jerry interprets it as a signal. Think about it. No owner in football listens to ex-players the way Jerry watches Prime. For him, it's not just nostalgia, it's validation. If Deion is whispering Shedeur's name into the universe, Jerry reads that as green lights all over the map. And here's the chilling truth. In a saga full of billionaires, contracts, and egos, Deion might be the only voice that can actually tip the scale. If he decides to put his full weight behind his son staying in Cleveland, that carries weight. If he quietly gives Jerry the nod, that's practically a deal in waiting. But the stakes are brutal. Family loyalty versus business loyalty. Protecting Shedeur versus elevating him onto the brightest, harshest stage in sports. Dallas. One phone call from Prime could change everything, and Jerry knows it. Which is exactly why his whispers have been getting louder. If there's one thing the NFL hates more than losing money, it's losing control. And this whole Shedeur Sanders saga, it's chaos wrapped in drama. The exact opposite of what league executives want. They crave order, predictability, clean transactions tied up in polished press releases. A trade here, a free agent signing there, nothing that ruffles the billion-dollar feathers too much. But Jerry Jones doesn't play by that script. He's writing his own. And to the NFL office, that's a nightmare. Because whisper campaigns, back-channel steakhouse meetings, and legacy quarterbacks getting tugged back and forth between billionaires, that's scandal bait. The kind of thing that makes fans question whether the game they're watching is competition or theater. And the NFL, for all its marketing polish, never wants you thinking it's scripted. The problem is, Jerry thrives on spectacle. Tampering whispers, he sees them as leverage. Investigations, free publicity. Headlines about him bending the rules, that's basically his brand. To Jerry, the controversy isn't a cost, it's a strategy. So while the league is quietly panicking about leaks, about fines, about setting a bad precedent for other owners, Jerry is smiling. Because in his mind, have won. And that's what terrifies them most. If Jerry gets away with this, it breaks the illusion of control. It shows every other owner the league isn't the real power. the billionaires are. And if that happens, the NFL wouldn't just be dealing with one rogue empire builder, they'd be dealing with a blueprint for chaos. And Jerry Jones, of course, would sign his name on the bottom of that page in ink. Imagine it. The deal goes through, Cleveland caves, or maybe just gets outmaneuvered. And suddenly, Shedeur Sanders is wearing the star under the blinding lights of AT&T Stadium. The cameras won't just cover it, they'll suffocate it. Jersey sales will spike overnight. Headlines won't stop. ESPN, Fox, social feeds, and late-night talk shows all repeating the same phrase, "The Cowboys are back." Once Shedeur's wearing that star helmet, the NFL can investigate all it wants. He'll already. Because this isn't just acquiring a quarterback. It's acquiring a phenomenon. Shedeur isn't just a player. He's a walking Netflix special, a Hulu series, a front-page Sports Illustrated cover, and a brand magnet rolled into one. He would instantly become the most marketable Cowboy since primetime Deion Sanders himself. And he'd find himself back in the center of America's attention, right where he wants to be. Don't underestimate what that means for the franchise either. Global streams, international ticket sales, Cowboys merch flying off racks everywhere from Dallas to Dubai. Suddenly, Dallas isn't just America's team, it's the world's team. And for Jerry, that's the dream, the immortality play. If it works, history won't just remember him as the guy who built Jerry World or hired and fired Hall of Fame talent. It'll remember him as the mogul who turned football into full-blown cultural dominance, the man who pulled off the boldest trade since Herschel Walker flipped the league and somehow came out on top again. But here's the catch. This dream only works if Shedeur delivers. He can't crumble under pressure. He can't just be good. He has to be great, quickly, because in Dallas, patience doesn't exist. Still, if the stars align, Jerry goes out as a king. The Cowboys become an empire, and Shedeur Sanders doesn't just play quarterback, he becomes a global icon. Now let's flip the script, because for every dream scenario Jerry Jones envisions, there's an equally real nightmare lurking in the shadows. What happens if Jerry pushes all his chips in and loses? Picture it. Cleveland trades away their golden ticket. The fans riot. The locker room fractures. Media spins it as one of the worst betrayals in team history. And while the Browns might walk away with draft picks or star players, they'll forever be remembered as the team that let a potential dynasty quarterback slip away before he ever truly arrived. And in Dallas, the pressure becomes unbearable. Shedeur Sanders steps into the hottest spotlight in sports, with expectations sky high and patience non-existent. Every throw, every decision, every misstep will be magnified under the Dallas microscope. One interception, the headlines explode. A bad game, talk shows label him overrated. Because in Dallas, there is no learning curve. And if Shedeur falters even a little, the whole empire crumbles. Jerry would be sitting on a depleted roster, gutted draft picks, and wrecked salary cap space. Rival owners and league officials would pounce, framing him as reckless, arrogant, maybe even unfit to keep rewriting the rules. Investigations could expose how deep the tampering whispers really went. Suddenly, Jerry wouldn't be the mastermind who pulled off a genius trade. He'd be the villain, the desperate owner who rolled the dice one last time and torched his franchise in the process. Cementing not greatness, but infamy. That's the razor's edge this entire saga balances on. Glory on one side, catastrophe on the other. And the line between them, Shedeur's ability to handle it all. For Jerry Jones, this isn't just high risk. It's the kind of gamble that could turn his final act into a masterpiece, or a cautionary tale written in ashes. At the end of the day, this was never just about a quarterback. It's about a billionaire in his twilight years, staring at the clock, trying to etch his name into history one last time. It's about a rookie who wanted nothing more than to play football, but suddenly finds himself cast as the centerpiece in a billion-dollar tug-of-war. And it's about a league that thrives on control, slowly realizing it might be losing it. Jerry Jones isn't playing for playoff wins anymore. He's playing for immortality. He sees Deion Sanders as the keystone, the bridge that links his Cowboys empire from the glory days of the past to a global dynasty of the future. A final gamble big enough to silence critics forever or burn everything to the ground. And that's what makes this saga so magnetic. Because it's not just contracts and trade packages. It's theater. It's ego. It's Shakespeare draped in Cowboys blue. An aging king making his last great move. A prodigal prince with the weight of 2 franchises on his back. And a kingdom already fracturing under the noise. Will Jerry be remembered as the genius who outfoxed the league one last time, or the megalomaniac who let ambition destroy the only empire he ever built? That's the billion-dollar question. For now, Shedeur remains in Cleveland. Jerry keeps plotting in the shadows, and the NFL braces for the fallout. But one thing's certain, when this story ends, it won't end quietly, because Jerry Jones doesn't do quiet. And if this is his last stand, he's making sure the whole world is watching.